Hey guys, it's Charmise Idris here, and today I will be making a turmeric face mask. So this is one that you can actually sell, unlike the other one that I did that was like a temporary mask just for yourself. And this recipe is actually only over on Patreon. So this is a Patreon exclusive recipe. So if you do want to check that out, make sure you look at the link in the description for the exclusive recipes tier, and you'll find it over there. And it will also be a PDF that you can download. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure out my phases, and first is the water phase. So I do just do water and glycerin for this phase, but you can add in aloe vera juice to substitute some of the water, or like rose water, something like that. But I just stick to the basics, water and vegetable glycerin. Next up, I'm going to measure out my heated oil phase, and I did choose two non-comedogenic oils because y'all, the way my pores are set up, I don't even play with it. So I chose argan oil and sunflower oil. And then I'm also going to measure out my emulsifier in this phase as well. And my emulsifier is basically just to bind the oil and the water together. I'm also going to add an emulsion stabilizer that will both help soften skin and help thicken up this recipe just a little bit. Now it's time to add both phases to the hot water bath, and my hot water bath is just a pan with about an inch of water in it on medium-low heat. And I'm going to let these beakers sit in here for about 20 minutes. For this batch size, that will be enough time for my heated oil phase to melt and then my water phase to get warmer at about 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that 20 minutes is over, I'm going to take both beakers out of the hot water bath and pour my water into my oil phase. And then I'll mix it up for 1 to 2 minutes. And to mix this up, I am using what I call my overpowered milk frother. And here's a picture of it, and I will put the link in the description below as well. But you'll see it on a lot of my videos because my regular milk frothers sometimes just don't do the job. And if I was doing a bigger batch than this, I would actually use my stick blender instead. Now that that's emulsified, I'm going to add in my clay mixture. And now it's time to mix for another 2 to 3 minutes. And this right here is the reason I like to use my overpowered milk frother, because once the clay gets in there, of course it gets much thicker. And I think that this handles it very well. And before I add in my preservative, I always double check the temperature, even though I know it's cool, but still want to check that it is at a temperature where I can add the preservative. So depending on what preservative you use, you'll be able to add it at different temperatures. And of course, since we've added something else in, we need to mix it again. Now that I'm done mixing, I'm gonna let it sit for about 3 hours just to cool down and thicken up just a little bit. And then I'm gonna add it to my container with a lid, just so that nothing gets in there. And this was able to fit in a 4-ounce container. Alright, so here's the mask after about 18 hours of sitting. So it's thick, but not as thick as it's going to be. But I did want to show you guys on my hand because I wasn't quite sure that I was going to show it to you on my face. So if you want to see the actual final consistency of it, just go back to the beginning of the video because that is the final consistency and it goes on much smoother than it is on my hand. So with my hand and my face, I only left the mask on for 8 minutes. You can test that out to see how long you feel like you should leave it on, but I only leave my mask on for 8 minutes, and I do that with other masks as well because I don't like it to get completely dry because I feel like it starts to dry out my face. But I also wanted to show you guys what it looks like right after I wash it off. So here's my hand right after I washed it off. And there is no yellow residue on the paper towel or on my hand, so that's great. And the last thing I want to do before I go is shout out my people over on Patreon. Make sure you check out their links in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And like I said, if you do want to join my Patreon, I have that link in the description as well.